Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Happy and welcome back to the EverythingHytale YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over the new Blig. I can do it. 3, 2, 1, go! Hello everyone, my name is Happy and welcome back to the EverythingHytale YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be going over one of the latest blog posts, which is an introduction to building NPC behaviors. This was posted 8 days ago at the time of recording, and guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into this. We're going to be reading through the blog post, and then we'll be having a little bit of a chat at the end about what we read. So let's get straight into the first bit. As you can see, we have this little text article, little text paragraph here, and it reads, in today's article, we're going to give you an overview of how Hytale's behavior scripting system provides ways to bring NPCs and creatures to life. To do this, we're going to show you some of the aspects of Twark's behavior. Now that's a word I just butchered, but hey, welcome to my commentaries. How they react to the player, the environment, and each other. Of course, these principles apply to Hytale's other creatures too, and all of them will be customizable by modders. As ever, all of the screenshots and clips in this post represent work in progress, and details may well change over the course of future development. So just in that little paragraph there, we already learn that modders, like using the tools that are available, we have a lot of things to hand. I mean, straight away you can see this Twark down here. You can see his run cycle. This is using the Hytale model maker, which was covered in a blog post recently. You can see we've got the little timeline down at the bottom, and we can see the Twark's animation. So that's how we're going to be able to make animations in the game for models. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So obviously these behaviors can affect the characters themselves, the game, creatures around them, and basically everything about the game. So moving on, we get, oh boy, another long paragraph. So let's have a read of this and then we'll discuss about it. After a creature has been designed and its model and animations have been created in the Hytale model maker, the NPC developers are tasked with bringing it to life using the behavior scripting system, which, as you can see guys, a little preview down at the bottom of the screen here. This is like, I don't think this is it, but this is just an example of the code and the Twark next to it. So the code looks pretty simple, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So next paragraph. The system uses JSON scripts that call on modular behavior elements that allow us to specify how an NPC perceives the world and how it reacts in a variety of situations. These scripts can trigger animations, changes in state, and more. A very simple example of this would be a script that determines whether a creature that has been attacked flees or attempts to defend itself. More sophisticated scripts can send NPCs chasing after players or cause them to seek out things they may like, such as campfires or food, and we'll see an example of that later. Next paragraph. This is quoted from Joseph Griffith, and he says, "We use building blocks to create an NPC from the ground up. We have sensors that are how NPCs interprets the world around it, and that's how it decides what it wants to do. Then we have actions and motions, which are how they will interact with the world or their target or whatever it is they're focusing on. We combine these to build up components and templates from which variants can quickly and easily be derived." Can we get a like on this video for how many attempts that took that you guys didn't see? So here's that picture I showed you earlier, the picture of the code and the Twark. As you can see guys, basic JSON code, which if you, I'm going to mention the M word here, if you know the game Minecraft, as everybody is now calling the game that's going to get taken over, let's just say. But we all know Hytale's better anyway. That's for the comments to decide. So yep guys, the same sort of code structure as other games that run on JSON, and you can see that being used here. So moving on to the, oh yay, long paragraph. Woo! In this example, we can see a snippet of the script that causes Twarks to spring into action when they see the player. The script handles several elements of this interaction. It triggers an alerted animation, which helps the player understand they've been spotted. It also initiates a beacon response that causes other Twarks within a certain radius to be alerted to the player's presence too. The exact details of this interaction can be precisely tweaked, but the overall implementation is grounded in top-level templates that are common to most NPCs. This modular approach to behaviour makes it easier to implement entirely new NPCs or creatures. When you script an NPC, you don't need to specify things like swing a sword or move X distance to the right, Joseph explains. Simply applying an abstract component like flee or seek is enough. The behaviour system then handles the basics of carrying out the desired action. At the most basic level, the easiest way to create an NPC is to use existing templates, he says. These templates are made up of components that we build out of sensors, actions and motions to make it easy to reuse behaviours across multiple scripts. One example of a component is sound detection, Joseph explains. This uses a combination of sensors that allow an NPC to interpret its environment. When you drop a new NPC into the world, it should be able to cope with environments that it hasn't been specifically scripted for, at least to some degree, he says. An important feature of this whole system is high reusability, says developer Eric Reinhardt. It is easy to modify existing behaviours, replace parts, and it's also easy to build up something new. For someone who wants to mod things or create content, the advantage is that it's easy to make simple modifications, Eric continues. But it also allows modders to change everything down to the smallest detail. Here's an example. By adding a few extra parameters to the Twarks Hunter's behaviour script, we can add bears to the list of creatures that cause them to enter an alert state, as shown below. Now we've got a Twark Hunter who yells at bears. This is purely an example, they won't necessarily do this in the final game. Even though this provides an example of how straightforward it is to introduce new details to a creature's behaviour. Often, the behaviour set for a new NPC will be mapped out by the design team before it comes to be implemented. Sometimes this means adding new features to the behaviour system that then expand the possibilities of the system further. Occasionally, however, surprises during development will lead to the addition of new behaviour quirks. Some small pieces get added during the process, Joseph explains. For example, Twarks have a sparring behaviour where they start punching each other. When I was implementing this, a defeated Twark would change state. Sometimes they'd immediately switch to a nap state. This was funny because it looked like they'd been knocked out. I implemented it properly, and currently, sparring Twarks will knock each other out after a fight. The team's intent is to create creatures and NPCs that contribute to the immersiveness of the world by acting independently of the player. By learning how each creature reacts, players can come up with creative ways to interact with them. For example, Twarks have a particular fondness for discarded meat, and we can see this below in the little video that's playing. Look at this. Here he goes. He found the meat, he picks it up, and he has it for himself. What a cheeky devil. How the player chooses to take advantage of this information is completely up to them. The team found that combining lots of simple behaviours can produce a surprisingly lifelike result. I'd created a script for a Twark archer and was trying to test how well the archer fires, Eric says. This was the first time when we had the possibility for NPCs to switch weapon. It was amazing to try to pursue this archer, and then, when you were close enough, he would turn around and attack you with a melee weapon. Having these really simple actions combined together was really rewarding, and we can see an example of that again below.
Okay.
In the clip above, you can see an example of several Twark behaviours working together. The Twark is napping outside when it begins to rain. This triggers a chance of state from asleep to awake, at which point the Twark decides to seek out somewhere warm. He then moves to the nearby campfire and sits down. Several different elements of the Twark's behaviour script are involved in creating this moment, but taken together, they create a sense of the creature's personality. Our goal with the behaviour system is to furnish the player with immersive movements like this, and we're excited to see what modders come up with when they get their hands on it. Here are a few more examples of NPC behaviours that you may encounter as you explore Orbis. Quebecs don't need to eat or drink in a normal sense. As plant people, they'll seek out bright spots and happily sunbathe to get all the nutrients they need. And finally, goblins are fond of throwing bombs at a problem. They can destroy blocks and create holes, which is a problem in itself. Good job, goblins. So there we go guys, that was an introduction to NPC behaviours and the scripting system. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe as well, and hit the bell so you never miss another Hytale video. Thank you guys so much for watching, my name's been Happy, my link will be in the description, and yeah, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next blog post. Goodbye!